Good evening. Welcome to the East Bridgewater Capital Committee of March 9th, 2023. We're going to hear tonight from the school committee in EBCAM, and next week, on Wednesday, we'll be doing the fire department. So, to get it rolling, since you have the lease, Russ, we'll talk to EBCAM. Let me get my questions out. Oh, before I start, no, you can go. Before I start, I really want to say, Happy International Women's Day to everybody out there. People don't realize that's what it is, but.
Oh. So you heard that on the radio this morning too?
Well, yeah. And then I went into work and I played Helen Reddy, I Am Woman, and I went out to tease the girls, so. Hey, you gotta have fun. All right, Russ, you're looking for some new equipment.
Yes. We're looking to replace our broadcast pick switcher, which is the micro version in our control room in our studio. It is our primary source for video for covering both events that are in the studio and anywhere about in the high school. So that's the auditorium, the cafeteria, the gymnasium, the mini lecture hall, as well as the studio. It is about 8 years old, and I don't mean to criticize it. It's a fairly decent unit, but it is based on Windows 7, which is no longer being supported by Microsoft, and we're starting to have problems with the technology. To give you a rough idea, when we covered the Evening of Jazz last week, which was a 4-hour event, halfway through the event, our graphics package failed. And luckily, it's one of these things where when the bands are moving off and the other bands are moving on, there's a lull, and I was able to reboot the system. But I was praying it would come back. Another situation, and please don't hit me, Liz. Last night we were covering the school committee budget hearing, and we had audio but no video. And luckily we recorded it and were able to replay it, but it's those little things like that where it's Russian roulette. Sometimes everything works completely fine, and other times it gets very cringy and hair-worthy. And to say the least, we had a couple of people griping at us because we weren't able to go, full video and audio live last night. We did replay it, and it's up on YouTube and all that, but that's why we're looking to replace the unit.
Excuse me, Russ. Can you tell us which paper we're looking at here? Because I don't recognize I know you know what they are, but
I brought copies just in case.
we probably have it in our package. You just show us which ones you're using, that would be great.
Okay, I'm just giving you the most recent quote from one of our vendors. This is what the unit is. It's called, the current unit, you got it? Okay.
Here we
Yep,
go,
I have it.
right here. Okay, thank you.
No worries. I'm a little nervous because this is the first time I've done a capital presentation in my life, so I'll try and answer whatever questions.
What do you want it?
It's about
That's
8 to 9 years
impressive.
old. And the thing is, like I said, it's not falling apart, but it's one of these things where it's Russian roulette. Sometimes it works completely fine, and other times we lose elements, and it's terrifying because you never know whether you're going to come out with a decent production. We do use it to cover town meeting. We use it to cover studio events, and we use it pretty much every day.
What do you use when you're out and about, like at the football games or something like that?
We use variations. For instance, what Zach is using right now is actually another broadcast pick unit. It's called a Commander. It's a lesser version. It's a smaller version. We have two Commanders, one here and one downstairs in the Selectmen Chamber. And we have what's referred to as a a broadcast picks Flint in the truck. So they're all variations from the same company. The Mica is the more robust for studio productions and for what we use it for. So as you can see, we kind of like the product because we can share software, well not software, how would I describe it? Graphics productions. Give you an example. When we cover the high school graduation, there's always a chance that it might rain. So if it rains, in the old days, I'm not sure because now we're doing it on Friday nights, but it would be moved into the auditorium. So when I would set up, I'd make up a set of graphics that I would put in the truck, but I could use the same set of graphics in the studio control room because they're all part of the BPIX universe. Does that make sense?
Sure. Now, is this quote we have from the same company that you have this equipment from?
I'm trying to think if we use these guys. I don't think so. We have various vendors. G&G came on board after we built this studio. This BPIX unit that's currently in the studio is like 8 or 9 years old, 8 or 9 years old. And I think that was done through Unique Media, which was our previous engineers. We don't use Unique Media
All right,
anymore.
besides the company, what about the components? Is it the same brand?
Oh, yeah. It's definitely BPIX. It's the same brand.
Russ, the quote that you have here is consistent with what I have on the spreadsheet, but then there are two request forms of the same date, one of which is 20,995 and one of which is 22,000, and it says it's master control rebuild part 1 and part 2. What is the total cost? Is it indeed the 20?
The total cost, I think that the 22 was just for the switcher, and the additional cost was to include the 1-year support contract, the wiring through our engineer, our new engineer. We don't use Unique Media anymore. So basically, we'd forgotten to include those things, which was the cost of engineering, the cost of wiring the new unit in.
So total cost is what? Total amount that you're looking at?
Total cost should be
Is 28,990?
28,990. So I apologize about that. That was an oops on my part.
Which spreadsheet were you looking at there? The spreadsheet I have has the 28,990.
Yeah, that's what mine is.
I was looking at these two capital request
Oh, those
forms
two. Oh, okay.
that were submitted.
My apologies, that would be my oops.
So that, the one that's 22, this is the same thing, but additional equipment?
Well, it's, the first one was just the switcher. I forgot to include the warranty and the cost for wiring it and that kind of stuff, so I am sorry about
There's a
that.
difference between a warranty and a support contract. I don't believe you can capitalize service contracts.
So should I subtract that?
Unless they made a mistake and it's really part of the warranty.
I'm not sure. I honestly don't want to give you the wrong answer. I can go back and
We'll
research
talk
it and
about-
get back to
We'll
you.
talk about it after.
Okay.
All right. All right. Any other questions?
So the other two forms we have, one is the 22, maybe this is just what you're referring to, and the other is 2995.
Right.
But one is slated audio, the other is video, so I thought they were.
Oh, okay. Now I'm not sure.
Audio, video.
Yeah, this one is, this is wrong.
Okay,
All I
so
can
I
tell
don't
you is
need
this
that.
one is wrong. And with my sincere apologies. I'm new to this, guys, and I'm sorry.
That's okay, no problem.
I promise I will get better as I do it.
No, no problem at
Do you
all.
want to throw them away, or?
Yeah, if they're not, if this supersedes that,
Yeah,
then this is
that
fine.
supersedes this. This was wrong.
And
So,
Yes, I mean, I think that for my benefit, or for maybe the whole committee's benefit, if you would just resubmit this to the office
okay,
downstairs with the correct numbers on it and just the proper description of what you want to do.
okay.
And
By
that's,
that time, we could get clarification
Clarification
on
of-
service versus warranty.
and then is this something that you'd bid out to more than one company,
Yes.
Russ?
Yes, the thing though with that, I've gone to other vendors, but it's the same product that they offer, so the prices between the vendors is pretty much the same, because they're all getting it through BPIX. BPIX doesn't sell themselves, they have individual vendors that cover areas, but the price between the three vendors is pretty much the same, because it's the same product.
Okay.
Is that it? All right, Russ, thanks.
thank you, Russ.
Thanks, Russ.
For making this
Nice job
painless.
for your first time. Good job.
Yeah.
Well, I promise I'll get better.
All right, school department.
I'm up there by himself.
Don't look at me, Brian.
There are 2 seats, there are 2 people.
Come on,
I
Brian.
don't know if the backup was given to you, but I don't know.
Sir?
I'm John Shannon.
Hey, Liz.
Bill.
Bill?
Hi, Gordon.
Hi.
I'm John.
Kevin, yeah,
Kevin.
FinCom previously, in prior
We've
life.
probably met before.
Oh, we have.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I know Chief Herron spoke to the committee. I've spoken to him a couple of times about a couple of his requests,
Chief,
Tim.
yeah, yeah.
And if you have any questions that you want to ask me tonight about that, feel free to. Or if you want to wait until next week, I can say that's fine.
Yeah, that's
You just
fine.
wanted me to throw that out there.
Yeah. Also, good news, that the treasurer was able to, town accountant was able to find $15,000 from a leftover article last year that wasn't spent, that they'll introduce in an article for the security down there. So, that's one off the list.
When you clean out your closet?
So there are 3 items on here to talk about tonight. The first one is the box truck replacement. We have a 2005 Chevy Express box truck. We use it to transport food between the schools. We use it when we need to move furniture and equipment between the schools. We use it for drama. We use it for band. We were told at our last inspection by the mechanic, he will not, it will not pass inspection anymore.
What is it, like a 24-foot?
It's, I don't think it's
14-foot box truck
24.
with a power tailgate.
It has a tailgate?
Yes, it
Is that
does.
what you're gonna replace it with?
That's what I'd
Same
like to-
size or anything?
That's what I'd like to replace it with. I gave it a couple examples. It's on the last page. I don't have a quote from a state bid vendor yet, but I gave you a couple examples
I
of
saw
what.
somewhere that a number of 70,000 put next to that.
What's that?
I saw a number of 70,000.
70,000, yeah. And that's based upon, if you look at the back page of what I handed out, there are a couple examples there.
I'm sorry, did I get a copy of that? I feel like I'm lost.
Right there.
It's on the back.
Oh, this on the back of
No, no,
this?
you-
Oh, okay. All right, sorry, John.
On the one you were just looking at,
Yeah,
turn it over.
I thought it was the same as this other one. Okay,
Yep,
Thank you.
Very back right there.
There you go.
Peace out.
Okay. Okay, so I'll pencil in that number
Yes.
instead of TBD. Okay, any questions about the box truck? I mean, to me, it's only concerning that, it can't get
It
past
definitely
inspection.
will not pass inspection. The rails are pretty rotted.
All right, so the inspection will run out. The timetable to get a truck is pretty lengthy.
Mhm.
You know, John Haynes is waiting for trucks
18
forever.
months.
So on these quotes and stuff, or the information you have here, have you had any discussions with them as to when it would be available?
I have not yet.
Because I'd hate to wait, approve the money in May, and then not be able to spend it until next June.
Which could be the case.
So you might have to lease.
I could look into leasing, I don't know.
Even leasing or buying, the vehicles aren't available, readily available.
I mean, one thing we did this year with the capital article last year for a new van, we purchased used.
Yeah. All right, well, I'd look at all my options because of the time lag here, so we can then know what you really want to do.
when's the inspection up? Current?
September, I believe.
And if you fail an inspection, what do you get, 30 days to fix whatever's wrong?
7.
No.
Or you get 7 days?
No, it's more than
Reject.
7.
Really?
think the reject sticker means 7 days.
And,
I think it's more than that.
there any other companies that bid on this, John, or how'd you approach this?
The
The
box truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are, I believe the town is part of a Plymouth County cooperative vehicle group. So I would go through that to get quotes.
All right,
The second item.
another question?
Nope,
Sorry.
item 2, I think. Yep, good.
The second item is the outdoor security camera replacement for Mitchell School. Right now, we're in good shape with our security cameras, externally and internally, except for Mitchell. We have one working external camera at Mitchell School.
No, that's it.
How many you ideally have?
There would be 6, 10, 11, 12.
Oh, wow, we have one, okay.
I'm assuming main entrance.
Yeah, main entrance, all the
Working.
parking lots, yes.
The ability to cover with cameras is, kind of spans a large space.
Well, you really gotta cover even in the back,
Yes.
Yes, yep.
because where there are no cameras is where everything takes place.
I mean, if you think of the high school, inside and outside, there's 168 cameras.
Yeah, at least.
And is some of the paperwork, that quote?
Yeah, it's on page 10.
Oh,
A company called A Phone Jack, they're local.
Yep.
They're on the state bid list.
All right, so the library is also looking for security cameras. Do you think that if we can merge these two things together, we could get better pricing?
I could certainly talk to them.
The library was already awarded.
If it is, I don't know. It's at Capitol, so
Last year or this year?
this year.
Am
Okay.
The A-phone jack, this is the one you're talking about, right, the truck?
Yep.
So this one totals 44,992, that has a $3,700 credit, but then it's also mentioned you need $3,000 for a lift, so it offsets? So it's still, this number's still the higher one? Okay, thank you.
Just for clarification, really about this advanced technology nowadays, it is 60 days with a reject sticker.
Okay.
Okay. Is this the only place you need security cameras? I mean, the high school and central school?
High school and central school are in good shape. We've, over the last couple of years, we've replaced all the parking lot cameras at the high school. We've replaced all the external cameras at the central school, all the internal cameras at central school. You know, we pick, you know, probably 10 a year at the high school to replace. That's out of our operating budget. We do that with. They're getting old, they break down,
Oh, yeah.
we'll replace them.
So all the fields, the football field, the baseball field, are those all covered under security cameras? too?
Football field is, baseball field is not.
What about the ones out on 18?
We installed new cameras that, from the building, you can see out into the field. Now, would you be able to see a person's face standing at third base on a softball field? No, but you can see out into the field.
I'm more concerned about vandalism like we had down there. It's parked down there with the cars racing across and ripping up the soil, but they can't get in there, so.
And all these are tied into the police station? They have the monitors?
We have monitors at the schools and the police station.
Great.
And with the new system, I believe, like yourself would be able to get into that system from home, right?
Yes.
You do have the capability. We upgraded the security systems, well, added security systems at the DPW bond, and we can bring it up on our phone.
Great, great.
Actually, the same company did it.
Any other questions? Moving right along here, technology, switches, modules, UPS drives.
Yes, so that's the quote from ICS. This has been approved for E-rate. E-rate is the FCC federal reimbursement program. So as part of that process, it's a lengthy process for us to get approval for this. You have to get 4 quotes, which we did. We go through a consultant that helps us file E-rate, so I'm asking for $132,000, but the town would be reimbursed 50% of it. This is to replace two chassis of switches, one at the high school, which are 10 years or over 10 years old, and one at the Mitchell School, which are older than 10 years. A switch, useful life on a switch, they say is 5 to 7 years. I mean, you really should be able to get 10 years out of them. But these switches that we're asking for are all over 10 years old. A switch is basically the traffic cop of data. It's where, for the internet. So we're asking for switches and also backup UPS devices. All the majority of our UPS devices for all our servers are all, they're all out of date. They need to be replaced. These UPS devices keep us running, could keep us running for 3 to 5 hours if we ever lose power, keeping up the internet, the Wi-Fi. They'll provide backup power for 3 to 5 hours.
On the UPSs.
Yes.
No generators down there?
Generator at the high school, but the UPS devices at Mitchell and
Central.
Central.
Hey, John, on the, I think it's the last page of this, page number 8, it shows the 132. So if we have a 50% reimbursement rate, so that brings it down to 66,025. What's the next line? It says ICS net terms, 260,000.
That's if we wanted to finance it.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. Somebody's making money on
Interest
that.
rates
deal.
are high.
Jesus. Wow.
And I do have to make one change. If you look at page 6, it says for the net renewal, it says 4,382. That's paid out of our operating budget. So that shouldn't be included in our capital request. So our capital request would be 127,668.
But then 50% of that, right?
50% of that we would get back. The town would.
Okay. Is Ryan involved in this, on what we need for equipment there and stuff?
Ryan has knowledge about this, but my IT department are the ones that. But ICS is a company that also manages our network, 24-hour management of our network. They also work closely with the town. But, I mean, if you'd like to run it by
Yeah,
Ryan.
I'd like to get, because we're trying to build that there and have everybody, I just want to make sure everything's compatible with everything and, just let him fill him in on what's going on.
Yeah, he knows about it.
It does have a reasonable 5-year lifespan at least.
At least, these should last 10 years.
And I don't know, what's the criteria in order to be bonded? I forget, what do you have hurdle there?
Charlie, can you answer that?
Sorry, what was the question?
See,
The criteria to be bonded.
There's a whole list of uses or objects or purposes that are in state statute. I mean, it's a fairly long list. I don't think the statute doesn't then say anything over a certain amount for a certain number of years, like the capital plan. It simply, basically, it's a laundry list type of thing, not a simple criteria. So we can certainly, if there's an item, we can check to see whether it would fall in that list. If we don't know, we can also check with our bond advisors.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? All right, stadium turf field replacement.
Yeah, I believe, Brian, were you bringing?
We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It is on the capital plan that we submitted for next year, but we really wanted to have it on the radar, because it's gonna be a big expense. It's lasted, the average life, we're told, is about 10 years of an artificial turf field. We've kept up with it, and it's still in fairly good shape, but we're losing a lot of fiber out of it. Last year, we put a lot of more infill into it to keep the G-max factor up, so kids wouldn't get hurt. But it's gonna have to be replaced,
You put a lot of what, filler?
Yeah.
Is that the
That's like-
black stuff we see gets
Yes.
kicked up when the
Yes.
guys get knocked down?
Yes.
Makes you think it's
But
dirt?
Pallets of it. And then you've gotta evenly disperse it.
And is that what the downside, the risk is that more injuries if it's not in good shape?
Yeah, and then if you could let it go too long, you're gonna rip the backing of the turf itself. It's just gonna start to rip apart. Open up the drainage area. But this, if you look at it, I mean, from a distance, looking at it, looks great. But if you walk on it and you're looking at it, we've lost a lot of fiber, which is normal, it's wear and tear.
Now, how does this
It
tie
gets a
in?
lot of use.
Does this tie in any way to the track?
We had money appropriated for the track last year, however, a vendor was not available to get that work done. We could tie it all together, but we'd have to close that stadium for
No, so
quite a
are
while.
you approaching a vendor? You still have the money for the track then?
Yes,
Okay.
and that was a track, not a track replacement, just repairs.
Okay.
Brian, is the technology similar, field to field nowadays, or has that improved, or?
I've talked to the AstroTurf vendor a few times. It's pretty much the same. A lot of schools, colleges have gone with a different type of infill. Instead of using the black rubber crumb, some have used crushed coconut, bamboo, and all these other things, and they all prove to be a problem. And they're back to using the black rubber. But there are different products you can put in there. But pretty much the tried and true one is the black rubber crumb.
Now, is there any price tag attached with that we know of right now?
I think on the capital plan, we put in a figure there, 1.4.
That was for the field, right?
Yes.
I think I put TBD 1 million on mine, just to get it out there.
All right. Now, I see a few other things down listed below. Inclusive playground, Mitchell and Central signs, snow throwers, school entrances, pickup truck, and baseball field backup and netting. And those requests are all out in front of ARPA.
Correct.
When do you expect you'll hear about what's going to be presented for ARPA for approval?
I've been presenting, I think I've been there 6 times, presenting. I believe that they have voted on a number of items to move forward to the Board of Selectmen. Is that true, Charlie?
I'm sorry, which one?
The ARPA committee,
Yes.
they voted and approved on a number of items. I probably still have 2 more meetings to go with them to go through all my items, but, yeah, so I feel as though they, on these items I've listed, they have been supportive, and I feel as though they'll approve those items if they haven't already.
I have the list. We're just testing you. So, if something, well, we won't hear about the opera approval in the process for a while. So, we won't know before town meeting probably if they approve this project
Probably not.
in Plymouth County.
From Plymouth County, no, because even if we submitted it today, they've been running months and months before we get a decision from them.
Okay. All right, so we'll just kind of leave those there and see what happens with opera.
Is there anything I would not be able to survive with
Is there?
on the opera request?
Yeah.
No? I think they're all important, but the request that I've given you, I think someone said at the beginning of the meeting, was it you, Gordon, that said, what would you do if
If
this
you
wasn't
weren't able to
approved?
get it, right.
That's what I'm presenting to you, things that we need approved in order to be operational.
Well, I'm interested in this is the inclusive playground,
Yes.
because that affects a lot of lives. And I just want to follow that with opera and see if that's been approved.
I believe it has been approved by APA, and I actually think that was sent to Plymouth County.
Playground equipment was, yeah, but now the thing, we're also still waiting for the Board of Selectmen to say yes.
Right.
But it's sitting in Plymouth County right now.
I don't expect the Board of Selectmen to turn that one down.
The Central and Mitchell School entrances, I'm assuming that's security related?
Security related.
Double doors and,
Yes.
yeah. I'm surprised it's only 30,000.
300.
300.
Unless I,
No. It's 300.
you testing me too good?
I'm sorry. So that's,
Yeah, it says
where's the commas
30,000
at?
here.
Oh, on that right there it does, but on this one right here, it says 300,000.
Oh, so you gave me a false spreadsheet, John. Jeez, I thought we were friends. I like 30,000, yeah.
Yes,
Right.
wouldn't get us half a door.
I was gonna say, 30,000, when you're putting up saran wrap or something.
All right, any other questions, guys? All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The other number's the same?
Thanks, Charlie.
All right, so, I'm gonna write up a report for the town, for the town meeting, through Friday. Probably won't get it till Monday, but, and I'll run it by you guys so you can look at it and read it and add to it, let me know. I also came across a capital plan that was a 5-year plan from 2020. And there's pictures and prices and years they want to replace it, how much the other stuff, et cetera. I want to get back into the 5-year forecasting again. According to the bylaw, we're supposed to have capital requests that are going to be considered all by December 1st. So I'm going to highlight some of that in the statement that I put out. I want to do one thing. Charlie, I'm going to want to do two things. I'm going to want to get that report, give it to the departments, and have them cross out what's been done or what they don't need.
Okay.
And whatever's left, we'll think they need.
Yep.
I'm going to want them to check the dates, make sure they're valid for what they're looking for, and the plan is, we'll take that, we'll digest that, but by December 1st, I want to have their capital request on that report, forecasting out. I know I worked with the DPW and the fire department, and they have kind of what they want for the years out there. Good thing is, looking at the report, a lot of some of the things they needed were really approved. So that's good. But there are some things I got a lot of questions about, because the things that haven't been approved I haven't seen them back at Capitol. So that begs the question, were they really needed? So that's what I'd like to do. That's how I want to try to, if you guys got any suggestions on how to better move along with the 5-year capital plan, you know, let me know. So, yep. So,
I think, I'm assuming we would end up looking at a spreadsheet. It'd be nice to have a column, you know, again, way back when, we realized, hey, did we really get this? I know it was approved. Be nice to have it checked off, like, yeah, we got the pickup truck, that's all set, you know.
from my memory, which isn't too good these days, because I said it was 7 days and not 60, right? I was checking off some, that's why I want the departments to check. We could incorporate that into the process, so because it should roll over from year to year.
Right.
So if it doesn't get approved this year and you're really looking for it, do you want to move it to next year and move something else off, or keep it there?
Right.
You know, so we want them to prioritize. And so that will take a little while, so that's why I'm gonna go with the bylaw and have a December 1st guideline, a December 1st submittal. There's also something I want to get some clarification on. Charlie, in the bylaw, it says that if it's not approved by the capital committee, it can't be brought forward in an article.
I'd have to check. I'm not disputing what it says in the bylaw, but I'm not quite sure of the legality. In the sense of, if we had somebody petition, you know, by our citizens petition, we're required to put it on the warrant, for instance. I'm just, you know, hypothetically, we don't get them, so.
Right. Right. Well, let's take a look at that and see how that applies to that, because wouldn't it still have to come before the capital committee?
Well, if you're saying no, it has come before you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Means, just as we have budgets that aren't necessarily recommended by the finance committee that can still be approved at town meeting, if you have enough
Yeah.
support.
All right, so, but all those little intricate things is something I want to put in the report, because I hear that citizens are really looking for some detail in the boards, what they do, who's on it, et cetera, things like that. You know, let them know that it's X, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 members actually on the board. Well, no, 7 members on the board, and they're 3-year rotating terms and all that stuff, so people will know. But it's great that we have a full committee. It's good. We were a little worried there for a while, but it's great. So, anything else anybody want to talk about? All right, with that, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.